Hello, this is Understanding Elon Musk, but also for other channels. But this is my main podcast. So I want to talk. I already talked about the problems here in Japan. So if you are a company, let's take Elon Musk's Tesla or Twitter or whatever. Uh, Auto company is a little bit different, but say you want to go to IT or banking and you want to start here an office. Of course, you have an American office, and then you start here and a satellite office. uh, there are here some problems. Of course, you have to make everything to the Japanese law, and you have to have, I think, a manager. All positions have to be like yeah, you have some problems with hiring people, and you have to have people here from Japan, and etc. etc. The lawyer stuff, etc. But that doesn't matter because any company that comes here in Japan has this problem. But what do you next? What do you do next? So what do you do? Do you keep this company that you want to say uh, not to go to the car company, but say you want to start here a department from Tesla specialized on AI, maybe say a computer company. For Tesla, the researching FSD and all kinds of programming and also kind of high tech, no innovative research and building software and interfaces for cars and for other things. So you first have to hire your country manager. Then you need to hire somebody with a technical CTO, a technical engineer. Then you need some people, HR, and etc. etc. So the problem is, what do you do? Do you get one country manager here from a Japanese person and let him hire the whole office, all the people in the office? So this sometimes happens. I've seen this, and I can tell you that normally they take some person from a company that is renowned, and he was a good manager. They promote him as a company manager and the head of the office of that company, and you will see slowly but surely all his people that he worked with, he attract to this office. So he gets his friends inside of the office. Uh, this is a normal thing here in Japan. I've seen that with other companies. Also, if you have a higher manager and he can hire more people or he has an influence on the hiring of the process, you will see that more and more people from his past or where he worked with will enter the company. So the normal selection of people, especially if they don't use new hires, but they need known engineers, you will see like these groups are moving. And for maybe for some people that don't see this or don't notice this, uh, will not ever see it. But this is what is happening. So you ask yourself, why is this so? Why are people, if they are working like a manager, hard manager, why are they getting their old colleagues or old people that work under them back to under them? This has to do with the way Japanese are going to school and are educated and how the society here is. You just look at every year how they are sending the Nengajo. Nengajo is a New Year's letter or an envelope you send to all your friends. And my father-in-law even sent still, he was over like old aged, he was 80 years old. He still sent Jenkacho an envelope every year to people that went to the kindergarten with him. You know, 80 years long, old. But also all the companies he worked for, all the people he know. So he keep in touch with all these peoples. And this is like a network of thousands of hundreds of letters that he sent at the end of the years I know him. And he had this big network, and he worked for medical companies, like pharmaceutical companies, and he worked for two big ones. And so he had a lot of colleagues and a lot of people he worked and went to school and studied with. He went to America, so he has a lot of contacts. And so people like here in Japan to have contacts with their friends or with their colleagues from over the years, and they keep in touch. Maybe some people say they just do it for just to look if they are still alive or how they are going. But you can also imagine if you're a CEO and you need some other people hiring, you also know what the status is of all your friends. So if you need, oh, this guy is not with a job or he's not a good position, I know, maybe contact him and maybe pull him to my company or the where I work for. So I see this, I saw this with the banking, that I saw some from some other bank, and a CEO coming of somebody, a chief officer coming to the company where I worked at the moment, and slowly but surely you saw all those people from the same bank coming in our getting hired by the company where I was working, and I was like, whoa, this looks like an invasion. And you see, of course, directly then this CEO could settle better because he has the support of his friends there. And you see already then there is this strange taste that there's like friend politics playing around. So if you look at the old company like Nomura, the old banks, the old I think the car companies, Mitsubishi, Toyota, all those old Japanese companies, these are all friend clubs. The story is that you go to a very high meeting of very high people, you will see that the old men are sitting in the at the back end of the room sleeping, and those are probably the most important people. And it's just they sit there, and in the beginning you don't know why, and they just listen, or maybe they don't even understand it. You don't know what they are doing. So I also, when I had meetings, especially with groups of like talks about like projects and integration stuff and all kinds of projects. I was like a data science, a data engineer. So I spanned over all kinds of applications. And if an application was made that had to get from a data warehouse, so I had all kinds of specialists. I need to know what we were doing, and I need to find out where to get the information for the application to run, and if the application was run, which report. So I was like between departments and between projects always. And you see that they invite all the people from all those projects, and it is almost like you are there in a big room with 30 people, and maybe 3 people are interested in what you're doing, and the rest is doing work on their laptop. They are just listening, and they are just sitting there doing their work. And if the meeting is done, sometimes they still sit there or they leave, and then you think, what were they doing? I had once a meeting, and we made the meeting, and no, I was not my meeting, somebody else's meeting, and he did a presentation. He said, "Oh, I cannot tell more about it because things went wrong, and this meeting is not needed. So the reservation of this room for half an hour, of an hour, yeah, you can now go because what I can talk about is 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 is, is not feasible anymore because it went over." And what happened? All the people were still sitting there for an hour until the booking of the room was gone. Why? Ah, a quiet place. I can work there. So those meetings are crazy. I think also when I was working at some other companies, during the work time from 9 to 5, the first always start with an asakai, means a morning meeting. That is like a cheering up of all the employees, what they're going to do today, and some presentations, and some things what they did, and how good they are. And then people start to work. You think no, they start to go from meeting to meeting. So you have the manager meeting, you have the employee meetings. Then you have lunch, and then you have meetings. So at the end of a day, normal work day, you are 60% or 70% of your time you are in a meeting, and the 30% that are left, you prepare for something else or do a little bit of work. So what happens often in these companies is that after your work is done, like 5 o'clock, then the meeting rooms are done. They start to work. So you can imagine managers, they are going from meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting. They don't do anything but meetings. Engineers, half of the time is also sometimes lost because there are meetings, and half of the time they need to run the project. They stay overtime. So after 5 o'clock, they start work until 9 o'clock at the evening to do their work. Sometimes they come early in and do some work there. they had to catch up those extra 4 hours. So they have 4 hours of extra work, 4 hours of between meetings that they can work on it, and then they have 4 hours of meetings every day. Sometimes they even work on Saturdays. So it is a really management country. Does it work? I think for Japanese way it works. Strange enough, I always questioned how can a company work like this. I talked with people that are working here very long. My mission of one of my last companies I worked for was to talk with all those CEOs, all the CEO, the CFO, all the managers, all the mid managers and higher management. I talked with everybody in that company, and I saw that it confirmed what I thought the problem and what the problem is in Japan, because I work for other companies here in Japan, and there I was just looking from the outside as an employee to what was going on. But my last company was a Dutch company, and I thought, okay, let's put on the naughty shoes, and let's find out what's going on. And I was also know that this job would not take. I would not be there for long, because I already saw in the beginning something was strange, and this was so many strange things are going on, so impractical that I thought, yeah, this is going to explode. This is not going. And exactly that happened also. So, but it gave me a chance to talk with every department, everyone, what was going on and how foreigners and how people, how they try to implement an agile environment in a bank here in Japan. That was you can imagine agile. That yeah, if people still type in. If you still hire people to change the calendar in the rooms, and that is their job, can you imagine an agile environment for that? No, you don't think so. So also, what did managers do? And you saw a lot of politics there. At first, it was okay, and they were friendly. A new guy from the Netherlands, or not from the Netherlands, Japan, had knowledge, and I found out very quickly that I knew a lot about Japan. I knew a lot about the company, because in the beginning I came here, I already helped them. I installed all the servers there. The main servers that they still were working on, I installed with then some Indian guys from the main bank. So I came back later, 7 years or 10 years, not 10 years, but 8, maybe 9 years later. I came back to to this bank, and I worked for it, and I recognized my own servers. They didn't know first, and then they looked in the log files, and they saw my name, and they thought, "Oh wow, you did the installment here." So yes, yes, I know more. And they didn't feel nice, because people were maintaining the service, and they knew they were like the gurus of the company. They will know everything about those things, and they were working there 7 years, and they knew everything. And then they found out that somebody lower under them installed the whole infrastructure of them. And he was doing there some not so important work. And they said to me, you have to learn a lot about the environments and how all the software works. It's difficult. Here you have books, Kambate, do your best. And later they found out that the system they are working 7 years with was installed by me. That was a nice joke. But yeah, but it gave me a chance from how this culture was, and how they start projects, and what's going on in Japanese companies. And I have to say, later, now that I'm not working there anymore, I cannot even call the name, because it will be an embarrassment for that company. Uh, yeah, it is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And I think this is also happening with other foreign companies that become Japanized. Uh, they make it a Japanese company. And then do you like a Japanese company? Is it a good thing for a company? No, 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 no. If you really look very conservative. They don't like a change. The hierarchy is very strict in Japan with the management. So if you are a company, even if you're a bank, a European or an American bank, or what kind of bank also, and you have here offices, if you want to really change it and it doesn't work, and you try for some years, and there are a lot of banks who try to change here banks in Japan or departments, and that doesn't work, my advice is fire all the management from high to low, get rid of it. Look what then is left. Probably there is no engineer at all, because they outsourced everything. So start hiring engineers, use your own management from your own countries to rollate here and get the job done here. And find really good Japanese or foreigners here that are really online with your work. Maybe pull them to your country and indoctrinate them with your way of looking and that they have to use that way in Japan. Don't let them work like, oh, we are in Japan, must do it the Japanese way. That is it is of course the way to make money to do, but at the long time it does not work. And also, if you want to find good people that you want to work for you, specific people that are that you are really like or really are good, you will see that all those people are leaving Japan because they cannot get their the what they want to do in their life. They cannot do in Japan. They have to go to the foreign countries. So if you are a company here in Japan that gives those people the same possibilities they have outside of Japan, you will have very good uh, selection of good engineers, good people, hardworking people, and very good uh, selection of employees that are really dedicated for your company. And that I knew this is so simple. If you do that as a manager, as a company, you do it as if you are a foreign company, a really foreign company here in Japan, and you get those people that don't like so much working at the Japanese company as Japanese, you will get all those people easily, and those people will stay because they know if they want, they cannot go to another company because it's more Japanese than this. So it is not, you must not use it against them, but you have to see it as a reward for you that you are doing it good, that you are not too Japanese. Because if they still leave, then and they go to Japanese companies, it means that there is no difference between your company and a normal Japanese company. I think you have to give them more freedom and more understanding in the way the company is made or they do in America or other right. Let me explain. I worked for a Dutch company for 12 years, and everything was Dutch. A little bit different, but it was a Dutch company. So Dutch engineers, Dutch management, Dutch, and I laughed because it is really I know all those types because I went to school and the business school was some departments there for higher technical school with higher school. So I saw all those people that went business and all HR people. I understand, and that was exactly what is there. A little bit more comical. So what I loved it. But this was typical Japanese, typical Dutch. So Dutch managers, Dutch people, and you know how to fight the management and how to act there to get your thing done. You can play with people, you manipulate them because you're Dutch and you know exactly how to do that. Dutch, so you know a little bit everything. Just on feeling, you can do it. So then I switched to an American company. The first reaction was my salary was much higher, and that everything was it was thrown 3 times, 4 times more money against it. So we had like a lunchroom, we had unlimited drinks, we had soup, warm drinks, meal, everything was provided. That was almost like when I worked for the government. It was also like that. But this was an American company, a very famous American company at that time, and they had a lot of they invested a lot of money for employees. So you were treated really like I was treated better than the highest management at my old company in Dutch as a normal employee. So, wow. So that is really my experience, and I really like to work for that company. And then my dream was to Japan, and I went to Japan. But that is exactly what I want to talk about. I was a Dutch person who used a Dutch company. Then I went to switch to American company, and everything was better. My salary was better, and the environment, people were more international. People were more. We talked French, we talked German, we talked English. People from India came, Americans came, Chinese came, all kinds of countries came here, visited. You talk with people. You were really happy to go to work and everything. If you have a problem, people helped you from all kinds of nations. We had employees from all over Europe there working, and it was a real nice. I maybe uh, maybe I had to stay there, but after a while this company went private, so the offices disappeared in the Netherlands and in England, and also I think in Germany. So it was only for a few, I think, 10 years, around 10 years when I was entered that it was like that, and then it went all because the economy changed, etc., etc. I saw, for example, I talked with the people from Lehman Brothers, and I talked with the people when Lehman Brothers went bankrupt. So I talked with the same people, and then after Lehman Brothers, they became Nomura here in Japan. So so this was before the shock, and there was a lot of money, and it was really nice to work. And I think if somebody experienced it now, what I experienced it, that switch, that was so good, and that was you give yourself 100%. I learned in that time to debug all the source code of the software packages, and this is a big software package, and I learned that in 1.5 years. So it was very nice environment, and I could study. I can really develop all my skills there easily. So if you want to do that here in Japan, what you have to do is make an American office, make an American way of food and everything, make it an Americanized. Eh? Also, the way you treat people here in Japan, a female a little bit lower than men, and the ranks, and then the childcare, all those things, do it like as in America, like you are an American company, do it as you use that. So people come in, and it looks like when they enter the door of the company here in Japan, and this is the American, it looks like they're in America. Let them, they will probably start talking English from themselves because it is all an American influence, and they will like it because you don't want to work there as a Japanese person. But if you really like America, or you like a foreign country, and you want to be a little bit different in the workplace, you will like it. And you do everything there. If it is like in San Francisco, or let's look American, like in an American place, you have like maybe a hot dog stand there. Your lunch is nice. You really talk with the part of the development of the employees every 2 months, or every quarter. You do really care about your employees, and you do as much as possible in English. Try to hire them all with a good English skill. And if they don't have English skill, send them to America, and really invest in them. So if you have like new graduates and you want to do something with new graduates, send them at least for a few years in America, so they know English, and they know the how to work in the American of the foreign way. And if they come here back in Japan, let them work for some years, but send them every few years back to America, to not that they settle in the way here in Japan is done. So why is this so dangerous, that you not want to have this Japanese virus into your company? Because old people will rule. It is all this traditional Japanese way of working, and that the youngest people has to do all the work, and the responsibility is nobody takes responsibility. This is built into the culture, the work culture of Japan. That has to do with samurai. That has to do with old way of thinking here in Japan. This is exactly opposite of, for example, agile. An agile group that has its own responsibility, there's its own management, that it works, does its own projects. This is totally not done. It is even, agile comes from Japan, from Toshiba, what's it, Toyota or Toshiba, Toyota. But it is more like a prank, I think. This is not used. It is in Japan so hierarchical structures. Even the seniors, the mid-level, the people that are just a little bit higher in age, has a more present, and more power than the people that are younger. And then you have to split female and male. Then you have graduate, and then even it has to do with from which school you come and what is your background. It is all important here, because people are so the same. Yeah, the only discrimination there is a little fluctuations of knowledge of where you come from. You can imagine if you are in Europe, maybe some people don't like specific groups of people from Germany or from France. So then there's a very clear separation between, oh, this guy or this company doesn't like these kind of people. But in Japan, everybody is Japanese, so it's all the same. So that's why I always say Japanese cannot discriminate, because they don't know what discrimination is, because they don't see foreigners. This all Japanese is Japanese. So the discrimination is for them a strange word, and they don't even comprehend what it is. If they see something and they make a discrimination remark on you, it is because they don't understand it. It is not that they want to be discriminated because it is so alien. If you are here, I was sometimes the foreigner in a company, and they don't know how to react. You can think, oh, this is very discriminative that they are doing this, and sometimes you find out that it's a goodwill. They do even more for you than a normal employee. But for you, still, it looks like it is something strange or discriminative. Why are they doing this to me and not other people? But that is good intentions. And this can sometimes become so frustrating that you think it is not good intentions and you look, and then you leave or something else happens. But normally, what I say, there are no bad intentions at all. Higher management, that is maybe something different. If they see it is disturbing the workflow or the power they have, if there are too many, like a group of foreigners in a big team, and they disturb it and they become maybe better, but the leading, they lose the grip on the group, these higher management, and it can even, normally it is that it is even, the production is better, everything becomes better, 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 but not because not steered by them, but steered. The group is starting to find this path and the success. They create their own success, and then you see that its higher management is panicking. Sometimes you have some meetings that you as a group do something, and a higher management takes the reward and assigns some Japanese from another group to be boss of your group that did the thing, and you think, what's going on? They know who did it, and still for the other management or higher management, they want to still show off that the group itself didn't do it. They all did it. Also, management did it. And maybe management never was there at the meeting or doesn't even linked to the project. Sometimes you have a very project that goes better and better, it's very successful, and what happens? Management want to shove in other managers there. That has nothing to do with the product, just to be there. They can say, yeah, we had our managers also there during those meetings and during those gatherings and those instructions. We were also there. But they were, what I said, they were sitting in the back and playing games or doing their other work and totally not listening what's going on. But they were there present. The presence was more important at meetings often than what they are doing there. So what something if sometimes you can ask it during the beginning in the 5 minutes is, are there any questions? And nobody's, and you leave. They still sit there 1 hour long during the booking of the room, and they keep on working what they are doing. Or some people are just panicking and walk back to their seat, and they don't know if that was a good decision or not. Strange. I always said, okay, you go away. I still keep on working here because it is quiet here. You have more space here, so. I didn't mind. Sometimes I went to the lunchroom and sit there to do my work because there was always meetings, always talking about things, and I was thinking it was like an open office. Now that was so terrible, and cubicles are also terrible. So sometimes you have to have a space that you really can focus on something because a lot of people don't know what to do and they always bug you with questions or want to talk or they want to do something else, and you are working hard there, and they think, oh, he has time. He is working hard, so he has to have time. Then you cannot work. So sometimes you have to do the work at home or in the hours they are not at the office. So that's probably why people work off hours. But you understand, this is what I describe a situation it's totally different, and the way to do it is that what I experienced in Netherlands with an American company is to make it like a small American. You expect this and you get better, all Americanized, and it is like in a movie, like a TV series, The Office. It is like much better. It is much more what you expect. It is not what you are used, but a little bit more. Foreign, and it is nice, and everybody wants to act because they are friendly, because they are this strange environment, and everybody is nicer, and it is like more friends. But you remember, colleagues is never a friend. That's also very good lessons to learn. uh, so this my best experience was that I moved from a Dutch company to an American company, and my worst experience is working here in Japan with all kinds, even with Dutch company with foreigners, not even Japanese, but some Japanese, but also a lot of Dutch managers that didn't know what is going on, and even that the country manager was a Dutch person. Yeah, that was really, really bad. He didn't know what's going on, and he listened to the managers under him, and those gave all the wrong information, and he could not trust the employees. He rather trust his managers because the office was doing good, one of the best offices in the world, and he didn't want to tinker to it because he still, after he left, he wanted at least be as good as the previous or even a little bit better. That's it. And if he would really change it, the culture, it would not be so good, and he would be get the blame, and it would be not a good thing on the CV. And because these people move from office to office every 4 years, they go all over the world. And if they have like a come in Japan, I think most people are afraid, or they think, oh, it is nice, and then they find out what's going on here really, and they are quiet for 3 years. As soon as possible, away here to the next assignment. So, what is my advice for Elon Musk and for other companies that listen to this video is, if you are a owner, founder, a startup person, and you want to do something in Japan, hire people here in Japan is very difficult. So what I would do is I will use people from America, where you come from, come here, and then with some headhunters, find some foreign headhunter companies or that are specialized in hiring maybe foreigners or other people, and get a team, get some people here from Japan that live in Japan that are foreigners to build up your office. Normally, these people did you hire that are already here in Japan know Japanese people, and they worked with them probably, and listen to them. Those people they work with are maybe the next step to coming more closer to Japanese employees here. So first start with your own people, then hire, go to a recruiting company here in Japan that likes foreigners, get them to go sit with them on the table, and you ask that you what you want to do and how many people you need, and ask them at least 70 to 80% has to be foreigners, and 30-40% maybe Japanese, but has to have very good English skill, because everything will be in English. You start your company, say 20-30 employees, listen to your talk with those people that are working here a long time in Japan, and listen to their advice for how to hire more employees. If they know people and they can get people from other companies or the old companies over to this company you have, that is maybe the best way to get good employees that are in the line of those people you hired. So you have to build a culture, and this culture must not be influenced by Japanese culture. Why is this? Why do you? But I already said you want to have. If in the future you build this bone network, this DNA, this how you set up your office. If that is done as they call it Gaijin way, if the foreigner way, if it has become a foreign office, if Japanese that want to join your company and that like this foreign approach of working, you get them in, and they will love it. Don't do a mix between East and West. You do, or you give sushi during the lunch break, or try to do Japanese. Try to see CEO learn to Japanese or with translators or whatever. Don't do it. Do everything in English. Do just if they cannot speak English, let them learn English, and if they don't, get rid of them. That is what some other companies did. If you cannot learn English or you cannot integrate in this time, you cannot pass your exams, then sayonara. Because if you get this virus of Japanese talk in some meetings, step by step, everything, your whole company will become Japanese. It maybe takes, you will think, oh, it takes maybe 2-3 years, but no, it can take 10 years. They have the time. As long as they have a foothold in Japanese somewhere, it will become Japanese. The whole company will become Japanese. So I advise them, always try not to use any Japanese anywhere. Maybe just make possible that the keyboards and the computers, every data you store in the computers don't have kanji and don't have hiragana, katakana. Everything in English and American. No documents, no, even not a possibility to type in Japanese notes or something into the computer systems. That is what you have to do. Maybe for sales, you would think, yeah, sales needs, yeah, maybe that's the way. But make it, that's also a lesson for my old companies, sales, make it a separate department from your company, from your office. Though the communication to the Japanese world, outside world of that office, let that do by a different group. Place them also in another building. And okay, then you have need contact with them, and then you need the same way you contact the things are done here normally. But your main building, your back office, do it all in English. The development of software, everything, all the things you want to do here. Uh, if Japanese is not needed for that work, don't use Japanese. So the whole idea is then you have to, this is the way you can build a company here in Japan that will not follow the way as all other foreign companies that became Japanese companies. You have to keep it clean. You have to keep out the Japanese uh, way or culture. This sounds very strange because you would think uh, if you are in obviously in Japan, you want to have it as Japanese anime and all those things. Oh, you want to have it like Japanese. That is why the employees, your employee, you like it. It is probably the reason why you want to go to Japan because you want to suck up the Japanese culture and you want to have your American and European employees come to Japan and experience Japan. Not at work. You can do it outside of work in the free time or maybe lunch or something. They can experience all of Japan. But you have to keep work. Your work will be your productivity, your idea of your company will be eaten up by the Japanese culture. Do you so look if you have a culture in America that works very well and you use that culture in Europe, you can push that culture or work culture there. And here you come and you cannot do it. You have to use the Japanese culture or a mix of your culture and Japanese. You will see after a while this mix of Japanese and your culture will change into Japanese culture, and your culture will be gone, and they will split off, and they say, okay, we will take over. There will be a Japanese office, and we'll report to you, and that is the only we'll report to you. We give you the money, but this will be all Japanese. And then by step, they remove all the foreign people in the office, and at the end, it will all Japanese, and it will be all Japanese reporting. And the only thing you see is the money in and money out. That's it, and what's happening there, you don't know because everything, all the reporting will be in Japanese and you have to trust the translations. And this is what you don't want. You want to know exactly if you're American, what's happening there. You want to know what's going on with the employees. You want to know if they are treated correctly. And you want to have Japanese people that like your company, that like this foreign thing. And if they don't like it, go to another company. There are not Japanese companies they can work for. But you, as a company, an American company or like SpaceX or like Tesla, you want to give them the Tesla experience, not the Japanese Tesla experience. You want to give them, they are people, they want to work for Tesla and under Elon Musk and Musk's idea and American way of working and American way of living and getting friends and interacting with people. They don't want to have like a cheap copy of Japanese. They are Japanese. Why would you go to a cheap Japanese, like you go to the Netherlands, you work for an American company, and this American company will try to do everything Dutch. They have windmills, they have the windmill day, and you have to dress up like a Dutch farmer. Dutch people is not interested in that. The same as you have Japan. If you have a Japanese office, don't do those silly things. If you have to want foreigners, Americans want to use understand more Japanese, let them go out with some colleagues, give them an hour, 2 hours off the both of them, Japanese person that works here and this person from abroad, and let him show you Tokyo or Osaka or else, and let them go out after work or give them a little bit time off. Make the workday from 8 hours, maybe 6 hours, and give them 2 hours at the end of the day or in the middle of the day. They can take a long break and they can explore the city and they can sniff up some kabuki or whatever they want to, some experience and pay for that. That is much better than you would want to try to do some Japanese stuff in your office that is in Japan. Keep it like all other offices in America and Europe. Keep it foreign, and that is, I think, the big thing. Also, I think I can maybe talk about it. It was a Yahoo. Yahoo was here in Japan, and that was taken over later by Yahoo Japan. It became Yahoo Japan, and it only became worse. And there are some stories I can maybe very shortly talk about. I never worked for Yahoo. I heard it from friends that worked for Yahoo. So America, it was an American-based company. Everything was American way. That's why people came there. Engineers, Japanese engineers, foreign engineers, Indians came there, worked there because they liked it. It was like a Dutch and American company. Then they started to work from home more. It's like 70% of the time you could be. Even some people were not ever on the floor in the office, and the production went better and better and better. Then Japanese took over the office. First they started that people had to come in. The working spirit become lower and lower. Then they even had cords on the laptops, so you can only move 1 meter from. So you could put your laptop to the other table. That was the max you could took your laptop, so you couldn't move. You were all seated in cubicles, and the production went crazy down. It became 20% effective work productivity. It went from 100 to 20% in 1 year. And people, the Japanese, were still happy because now they understand the Japanese way. And all the good engineers, of course, they left screaming back to home to if there were foreigners. And the Japanese that were working there that liked this way run out also, and even the other foreigners. So the whole company became, after a while, step by step, Japanese. Productivity went down, and it became a Japanese company. And then it becomes a black hole. What is the productivity there, and what is the money made? But it is still a piece of Yahoo. But now it is Yahoo Japan. So if you listen to the stories of people that worked there and saw this transformation, you see the change for what it was to what it will be. So what the Japanese way is, and this is not what. Why are they running away so fast and screaming and what was all going to happen? What bad? That means you don't want to have that in your company. So what did these people like that were more productive and more better and at the golden days? Those were like this foreigner way. So you have to keep this foreigner way, and you have to guarantee those people also that you will not change in Japanese way. So you will be maybe a little bit strange that people don't like this. There was even another Japanese guy who was more open like this, and they destroyed his whole company because people liked him too much. He had very good employees and was very good, and he was too good. And yeah, if you're too good, you make enemies, and those enemies destroyed indirectly his company, and he can't even bankrupt, and he had some tax stuff that was. I think it was all set up to fail because he was too good for Japan. So he's now making a space company. He also wants to launch rockets. So he's following the footsteps of Elon Musk, and that's good. But I think for Elon Musk, if he wants to make here a Tesla or a design office or something else or whatever here in Japan, keep it foreign. Your setup of your office has to be a foreign way, American way, to California, or what is it, Texas way. Do it that and make your office in that way, and build a back even a McDonald's in it if you need it, or wait, I don't know, some tequila bar or something. But make it a little bit fun. Do things that are American. Don't try to make a sushi bar there or something strange. Do the sushi bar in Texas or something, but not here in Japan. I think the people here in Japan that wants to work as Japanese for an American company, they expect to see all kinds of American stuff and not copied Japanese stuff by Americans. So Uh, don't be also afraid that that is a too big cultural difference. Just do it and just be yourself. Be who you are as a company and be who you are as Elon Musk and what Elon Musk stands for. Show that and do that and just you will be okay. And you will get exactly the people you need and you want. The other people that cannot integrate or don't understand this or dislike it, those people you don't need. So that is my advice. Maybe I will talk a little bit more about this. But my advice is you hear about this talk. Maybe it's a little bit too long. It is Japanese culture influence too much the way of working of employees. And we had here black companies, and black companies are not good for the employees. And it is still 90% of those companies are black. And that is a pity. And I think if you are like an Elon Musk or you new startup here, don't be a black company. Just do the normal things you're used to, and you will get by being normal and don't change and keep your way of working the same as in America or in Europe. Keep that here also the same. You will get the people exactly you need. And the people you don't have to hire people that are Japanese. You have to hire people that want to change to your culture. You don't want to change to the Japanese culture. It sounds strange, but this is probably the best way to start a company, a successful company over years and years and years here in Japan. And I can tell you, there is no foreign company years over years that is successful because they all became Japanized and it doesn't end good for those companies. That's my end of my talk, and I will check it